On the bottom level, we find a mage's lair, alchemy lab, library, but no wizard, only a headless corpse. It's sitting at a table with a book in hand. Gets up as we come in, ready to fight, but it holds up its hands in a gesture of peace. Starts writing a note for us. I am, or was, the mighty necromancer Smekna. You may have heard of me. Shmekna, okay. Hey, it's already SkyDieRay here. Sky has failed constitution save against the Ray and is now dead. You gotta roll up on your character. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Welcome to another DnDGreentext. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I wanna quickly kindly ask if you're not yet subscribed to the channel to consider doing so now. It only takes a moment, you can undo it later if you want, and if you change your mind, and yeah, with that being said, thank you so much if you do that, if you subscribe, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. No means no. Be me, forever DM. Be not me, players. Be princess, unconscious. Players are in a precarious situation. Have to secure the princess of this pirate kingdom from bad guys coming for her. Had an epic fight in the main hall. Princess was fighting too, but she got dropped. Cleric is out of heals with no health potions. She's stable though. Players know more enemies are en route. Leaving the castle is looking risky. Wizard. Guys, the scroll of teleport we got. Everyone cheers. Makes the casting DC and cheers again. I cast teleport and target the entire party and the princess. Me, reading the teleport spell. Well, it says up to 8 wheeling creatures, but I get cut off. Oh, come on, Mick, she's unconscious, she can't say no. Record stop. Bruh.png. We all look at him, and the female players at the table are giving him the WTF look. He notices us staring and doesn't get it. The spell says 8 wheeling creatures and I can assume she would be wheeling, so it should work. Bruh2.png. As the words leave his mouth, he gets it. Oh, that sounded not great. We laugh. I let him use the teleport and we assumed consent. How I learned to stop worrying and love dues. Pathfinder 2nd edition Abomination Vault spoilers. Alrighty, just finished book 1 of Abomination Vaults with the most absurd fight I've ever had in a tabletop game. Be party of 4, human wizard, elf rogue, human bard, and ghoul fighter, cause after a character death somebody joined as Ogriel the Ghoul from floor 3. We have Volek Azranai's portrait tied around the ghoul's chest to spook him. Volek Azranai hates his image because he became a swarm that walks and is the last boss of this book. We're getting ready to fight him. There's a bathroom near his boss room and it has a shit chute. The fighter went down it twice in the fight in there with a poltergeist. Get in the room with Volek. First action he does is suggestion on the fighter. Crit fail, hero point, crit fail, and told her to run out of the gauntlet. Fighter jumps down the chute. We all run away to regroup since suggestion lasts an hour. Go back to Otari. Get scrolls of ooze form for me and the bard. Immediately run down to the room again since we barely spent spells on the fight. Volek is hiding in a closet near his room to ambush us. Cast suggestion on the fighter again, crit fail, and told to run away. Okay, we're the marshals now, that JPEG. Rogue steals the portrait from his chest on the way, since Volek needs a will save each turn or he's slowed. Me and the bard turn into ooze forms, which have resistance to piercing. 100% of Volek's damage is crazy piercing damage. Rogue is now just quick drawing and throwing bombs at the ground to do automatic splash damage. Me and the bard are literal blobs forcing the swarm into a corner in a closet and smashing him repeatedly. This goes on until he dies. I thought a final battle for a book would be more epic. Instead, it was 2 giant blobs in a closet. A leech man to death. Jesus Christ. That went gloriously though. We only wanted his body. D&D 3.5 as always. None of this newfangled nonsense. You can find a path off of my goddamn lawn. DM has read some old stuff about Vecna the famous leech and ripped off some of the flavor but with some changes, ? Campaign starts relatively normally and it's a small group of friends in a village. Be me, ranger, human, lawful evil, brooding, dark, with a traumatic childhood and a drunken father who used to beat me drowned in the river when I was 15. Favored enemy? Human. Gritty AF. Be the rest of the party. Fighter boy, bard girl, and sorcerer boy. Rumors of undead in the swamps near our home village. Investigate. Skeletons and zombies. We use the terrain to our advantage, but it sure would be nice if we had a cleric. Find a temple to some long, sleeping god of decay. Sleeping, not dead. Zombie guardian. It's a very hard fight. If it's a zombified human, do I get my favored enemy bonus? DM says no. Eventually win by retreating and luring it into the mud where it's even slower than usual, and then attacking with ranged weapons. Investigate the temple and fight some skeletons and zombies. Gain a level or two and find our way into the catacombs. It leads into a huge dungeon and goes on for 7 or 8 sessions. Level 4 or 5 by the end of that. On the bottom level, we find a mage's lair, alchemy lab, library, but no wizard, only a headless corpse. It's sitting at a table with a book in hand. Gets up as we come in, ready to fight, but it holds up its hands in a gesture of peace. Starts writing a note for us. I am, or was, the mighty necromancer Smekna. You may have heard of me. Shmekna, okay. Only in tales stored around campfires, late at night when the moon is behind the clouds, and grizzled veterans compete in bone-chilling tales of terror. My legend is much exaggerated. I am nowhere near as evil as they say I was. My head, on the other hand, has gone quite mad. You what now? I felt the madness growing, so I chopped off my head. Sadly, one half of my soul left with it, and they went out into the world to cause death and chaos. Please, with my help, it can be stopped, but I need your help too. Make it worth my while. Be the rest of the party, slapping me down for being so selfish. Chaos and death must be stopped. How can we help? I feel something of what my head is up to. Its plans. It is gathering knowledge and artifacts for a ritual of great power and evil. The first thing it must seek is Shmekna's jeweled glove, which I lost many years ago. I know not where. The second thing it must gather is 12 tomes of Shmekna, records of my magical experiments, from my long-lost library which was built in the astral plane and floated off while I was busy elsewhere. The last thing it must do is perform the ritual, which involves reading from the 12 tomes while inscribing on sacred symbols in the air with the glove. Dude, we're level 4. Astral plane? I don't think so. Then we would be lost. But fear not. My head is in a state of torpor and shall be for a few more years. You have time to learn how to travel the planes. Leave the catacombs with gifts of magic items and class and alignment matching level gaining tomes. Set out for the nearest city to find if there are any depositories of knowledge, sages, libraries, etc. Adventures on the way, we fight a manticore and rescue some peasants from ogres. Nothing much at the first city, except some city-based adventures. Eventually, find a geographer that tells us of a famous location of books owned by a noble in a city some weeks travel away. Off we go then, encounter a mischievous fairy and best it in a riddling game. Stumble across some bandits and track their leader for a bounty, and pass through several more cities and towns. Takes the best part of a year in real life, but eventually we follow the trail of clues and side quests and get to level 15-ish and find the glove of Shmekna. Various other magic gear found, most notable of which is a powerful warhammer with the holy sight stat, so it does extra damage to undead, and we expect it to be quite useful in the final battle, assuming that there will be one. Journey back to the lair and tell the body that we found his glove and that we are ready to seek his library now. Sorcerer Boy and Bard Girl know some useful spells for that, plus we've collected various scrolls and misc items that should help. We can fly, we can plane shift, and we can divine the location. Astral plane, and we're flying through a dream of sparkly lights and softly glowing wind. Guided to the library by a path of glowing orbs conjured by Bard Girl's divinations. Storm blows up on us. It's a powerful song of sharp smells and crystal shards, a nightmare in the center striking out with sorrow and decay. Vanquish it with the flower of hope. Drift on. Were we there for hours? Or weeks? Who can say? Lost and alone. Found again. Following the orbs, floating in the darkness, a lump of rock with a tower growing out of it. Enter the tower, and there's gravity again. Fight the golem guard with a blade of starlight. Their grim pragmatism is no defense against inevitable change. At the top of the tower, we find Shmekna's 12 tomes, the records of his magical experiments, and return to reality. Like the worst hangover ever. Everything itches, the noise is dull, and the light barely shines. The astral plane is much nicer. Also, where the hell are we? Stupid plane shift with its plus or minus 70-10 miles. Travel back to the body of Shmekna. It talks this time and says it made a magic voice box so it can communicate. We'll need that if it's going to fight with us. What? Yes, it says we must change the number in the party. 4 is inauspicious. 5 is a much better number. Sounds like nonsense, but okay, having an extra mage can't hurt. Now, we are ready to confront the head. The body knows roughly where it is. It's a 3 days journey. On day 3, the body awakens in a panic, and apparently the head is ready to try the ritual. Not as bad as it would have been with the glove and the tomes, but still going to be bad. A black tower on the horizon, and dark clouds closing down the sky behind it. Think that's the place? The body teleports us closer and we smash down the door. Charge up the stairs, fighting our way through a horde of zombies, ghouls, giant skeletons, bone and flesh golems, and the pit fiend at the last floor before the top. Mighty battle. We are wounded and low on spells. Sure could have used a cleric, damage to the tower, and have to duck under a fallen beam as we enter the last chamber. Except the body, of course. He has no need to stoop under it. No head in the way. The head of Shmekna turns to face us. Behind it, an altar with dark symbols torn into the air, edges fluttering as if by a cold wind from the other land. You, it shouts, glaring at the body. You return to reunite with me. I am no part of you, responds the body coldly. I deny you. I defy you. I never supported this evil. Body lunges forward with the holy hammer and smacks the head so hard it flies into a wall. The ritual is not disrupted and power level is now over 9,000. The head rises slowly from the floor where it landed. Very well, it says. But you didn't have to cut me off. Make out like it never happened and that we were nothing. And I don't even need your glove. But you beat me with a hammer and that feels so rough. No, you didn't need to stoop so low. Have your friends collect my records and then change your number. I guess that I don't need them though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Yeah, I became so disappointed by like the second line in this, but I didn't want to stop. Assuming some people maybe didn't get it until the end. Anyway, this has been absolutely horrible. I can't believe that I've spent what? Like, I don't know, like most of the video anyway was basically spent on this story, so okay then, dude. Humanitarian efforts. Pimi, DM of sci-fi infused 5th edition game. Looking through Montecook's bad sanity. And Sidek Sakharokax. A mobile meatpacking factory that harpoons anything it can get, and then slices, dices, and spits out vacuum-packed meat product. It's horrible, and I immediately love it, so I put one out in the tundra as a plot hook for the PCs to investigate and deal with. I also mentioned for extra dehumanizing horror factor that the machine does not differentiate between humanoids and beasts, and there's no easy way to tell if a given meat pack is, say, pork or long pork. The PCs agree that they need to handle this abomination, but it's not priority 1. It's been a busy campaign, and the PCs are feudal nobility preparing for inevitable war. They're discussing ruthless medieval tactics. An army marches on its stomach, right? So the fighter, a soldier's daughter, suggests burning the enemy's grain silos and starve their soldiers. An idealistic farmer's son is reluctant. This may shorten the war, but it risks causing a famine among the peasantry if the harvest is poor this year. The artificer. I have an idea. We can burn the grain silos and still make sure everyone's fed after the war. People look over at him, and the fighter, eager to starve out the enemy soldiers and shorten the war without harming civilians, asks what he has in mind. So, you know that butcher machine that we need to take care of? What if we captured it instead of destroying it, and then we throw enemy soldiers into it? People can't tell what's in those packages it makes, right? We pack them up into humanitarian aid packages after the war. We're heroes, everyone loves us, nobody goes hungry, and we don't have to bury so many bodies. It's a win-win. Horrified laughter, and I immediately give the artificer inspiration. Note, he has never played RimWorld. Jesus Christ, that is a really horrifying idea, but I guess it's probably the smartest thing to do in that scenario. I don't know, it seems to work, it makes sense. Anyway, on that note, that's gonna be it for today's video, so thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you didn't subscribe if you haven't already. Also, big thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon, I really appreciate it, so thanks so much for those. Links below if you can check them out, as well as links to the social media, Discord, subreddit, and everything else. And yeah, that's it, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time, bye.